Hey Video Lab! I recently published a video about Tulsa, Oklahoma and why the city reopened a search for mass graves 100 years after a race massacre took place. A huge part in telling that story was figuring out what visuals existed from 100 years ago when the massacre happened. And in doing that research, I was reminded that libraries are the coolest places on earth, and I'm gonna tell you why. Hey, I'm Ranjani. I produce videos for Vox, and I focus a lot on news, crime, and justice stories. So lots of Vox videos use library material, whether that's from the Library of Congress or the New York Public Library or tons of other online searchable collections. But I want to talk a little bit about the process for my latest video, and if you haven't watched that yet, go do that first. Okay. Back to my love for libraries. Tulsa's library let us look through tons of local newspapers from 1921 on their microfilm readers. This is how we got one of the cooler reveals in the piece, that people literally tried to cut some reporting out of newspaper collections and cover up reporting around the event. But it's also just so cool that no matter what city you live in, chances are your local library has an awesome collection of reporting that goes back decades that you can access for free. Special collections departments are also magical, like this one at the University of Tulsa's McFarland Library. These usually house things like rare books, manuscripts, photos, documents, anything that requires special security. That's why in the piece you see a librarian handling the 1921 KKK postcards with gloves. They also let us sift through boxes of material to get a better idea of what happened during the massacre. We found tons of photos that don't exist online, audio recordings, and documents, like this cool map of Tulsa that showed in red where the fighting was happening. And then there's also the local historical society. We weren't able to go in person, but with a phone call, we got permission to use all the photos digitized on their site. There were a ton that didn't make it in the piece, so feel free to check it out for yourselves. Anyways, this has really been a love letter to librarians. They are the best, and they're super accessible, so if you ever find yourself needing information on an old local story, I highly recommend starting with a visit to the library. Thanks for watching.